Welcome to Meditations. I'm Josh Hutchens, and in today's meditation, we want to look at Acts chapter 2, and we're going to pay attention to verses 14 to 21, although we'll mostly be looking at verses 17 and 18. So here, Peter stands up to speak on the day of Pentecost. This is after the Spirit has been poured out upon the early believers. They demonstrate this by speaking in different languages as the Spirit enables them, and they are speaking about the mighty acts of God, most specifically his mighty acts in raising Jesus Christ from the dead. And some people have thought that they were drunk, and that's why they are responding this way. But Peter stands up to explain to them what is going on, and he bases his explanation on the book of Joel. And in the book of Joel, in the quotation Peter uses, it says, God says, "I will pour out my Spirit on all people," or some translations, all flesh. And of course, it's quite obvious that Joel is not saying that God is pouring out his Spirit on every single person, every individual believer, but as is made clear in the rest of the prophecy, it is all types of people. So he continues, "Then your sons and your daughters will prophesy, your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams. I will even pour out my Spirit on my servants in those days, both men and women." So he is saying that he's going to pour out his Spirit. God is going to pour out his Spirit on men and women, on young and old, all types of people, not just one type of people. And of course, Joel's prophecy is going back to a wish that Moses makes in the book of Numbers, where he gathers 70 men to be elders over the nation of Israel. And as he gathers them together at the tabernacle, the Lord pours out his Spirit upon them, and they prophesy. Joshua then comes up and he informs Moses that there are 2 men that are still out in the camp, and yet they are prophesying as well. They've received the Spirit as well. And Joshua wants to know, should I go and stop them since they're not part of this official thing that's going on in the tabernacle? And Moses responds by saying, "Don't stop them. I wish that all of God's people would be filled with his Spirit." And so Joel looks into the last days, and he says, in the last days, that's exactly what's going to happen. We've seen in the Old Testament, we've seen that only certain men, and it is only men, not women, only certain men are filled with the Spirit, men who have a specific task to perform: prophets, kings, those elders, as well as the craftsmen who made the tabernacle. But now, in the last days, because of what Jesus has done, the Holy Spirit has been poured out on all who have believed, men and women, young and old, so that we are all now brought into fellowship with God through the Holy Spirit. And this reminds us, as we think more broadly about the book of Acts and about the mission that Jesus sets these disciples on, to be witnesses in Jerusalem and all the way to the ends of the earth. When we think about that mission, of course, the apostles and those who would have an apostolic gift, what we would call today a missionary gifting, like Philip and others, they would, of course, get a lot of the attention of the book of Acts. They get a lot of attention today, but it is the entire church that has been called into that mission, and we each contribute to that mission according to how the Holy Spirit has gifted us. But he has gifted every single one of us who have believed, because he dwells in each of us. If you've enjoyed this teaching, then go ahead and visit gospellife.org/books and place an order for my most recent book, the Bible Guidebook, which is a part of our Gospel Life Guidebook series that we are starting out. The Bible Guidebook is a book that will introduce you to the world of the Bible. It will introduce you to how to study the Bible, the cultural and historical background to the Bible, and then a basic understanding of every book of the Bible.